doing a VSR video breakdown on Autumn Thompson. She was the first softball girl that I started working with, but I needed to wait until this last week to get a better video of her to show the progress that she's made since she started working with me. She had never pitched before or had very little experience when she started with me, so we kind of just took a very baseline approach to building her delivery. I know this isn't the best view right now, but I'm working with the time and resources that I have, so just bear with me right now. I'll go through and address some of the all of the things in her delivery eventually, but I want to show the one big thing. Basically I put this towel on her hand and I just said, hey, you know what, let's just look at what you're doing, and I'll kind of make my assessment from there. So this was the first day that she was in with me. I hadn't really talked to her much at all. One thing I want you to look at is this right here. When her foot lands, I mean, we're throwing the ball down this way. I mean, her entire body's pointing that way. I mean, this foot's closed, that foot's closed. So, I mean, you want to have a certain degree of closure in your body as you're going down the mound, but you want it to be up here. You want this down here to be pushed out. So, I talk about hip and shoulder separation. It's obviously a little bit less with softball just because the motion is very linear. It's back to forward, whereas with baseball, you're starting actually facing the way that she's facing right now. So with this arrow here, I want to think about her shoulders staying back and these hips kind of pushing out, creating, essentially that torque right here in the middle, and then it kind of explodes forward. But as you can see, and then watch, you can see her foot. Let's see if I can, and you can see that foot just like sweep in behind her. So that right there was my biggest indication that we needed to definitely get her more back and forward in a straight line type of deal. And so anyway, I'm going to go through and look at some of her progressions and the adjustments that we've made. I mean, honestly, like if we could just I told her, I said, if we just got your hips pushed out the right way, I'm happy with what's going on up here. But this line through here is what we got to get away from, and we have got away from it. Like I said, this is like the very first day she ever started with me. So let's see if I can get, there we go. So this step right here, this step back with the foot, she's not allowed to do that, but we were just kind of using it as a drill because she couldn't really figure out how to get here with her weight and then there with her weight. So I just said, hey, put that step in for now, and then we're going to end up leaving these feet in the same spot, and we'll just kind of hinge through the hips and swing the arms, which is what she does now. But this step was just kind of a progression. You'll also notice as we go forward that her glove isn't in here anymore. Both of her arms go back now, which just gives her a little more leverage going down the mound. But I mean, you can tell already, like that push wants to be better. You can tell with this foot. See if I can, you can tell right here on her foot. You can tell that it wants to turn over, but it just it can't push straight because her hips turn. So we're looking at this up top, which makes it very, very difficult for her to get these hips through before the shoulders. But I mean, if we were just looking at, say, from there up, this stuff's good. I like this stuff through here. Shoulders are back, arm's going to have a full path, but again, there's no separation. There's really nothing, those legs being the engine of everything that's pushing you down the mound, forcing you down the mound, they're basically just completely closed off. But you can tell right here at the end, instead of having that sweep that she kind of had in behind her, still kind of happens, but that foot wants to open up now. You can tell that those hips want to come through because the foot kind of kicks straight and then those hips push through right at the end. Also with this right here, I told her we needed to work on relaxing her arm because her tendency in the beginning was to release the ball high almost every single time. So we've made an adjustment on that also. This was really the first day that we threw a bullpen with her. I'm just going to, let's see, what do I have? One pitch in here. Yeah. So you can just tell right here how much more fluent she's moving and just looks comfortable. So this was, this made me happy to see, and I'm just going to let this roll right now. That's a solid pitch right there. Okay, this was actually the first game footage of her that I got. So this is going to be cool to look at. Okay. You can tell right here that we've got that arm swinging back. I kind of cut this clip a little short, but that arm is swinging back. Zoom in. We've got that other foot engaged down in there. But as you can see, right, it's kind of hard to see with this, but foot comes off a little sideways, boom, that toe, kind of the heel comes over the toe, which is what we want, you know. I mean, it's still kind of at this angle. We realistically want it like there, so that heel just comes right over the top of the toe, and that will actually take, that's going to get the ankle to go, the knee to go, and then we'll push that hip through, and then really good delay up there with the shoulders. So that's an awesome job. In fact, the first inning that she threw in her very first game, she struck out all three batters. She got all three outs via the strikeout, so that's awesome. Gonna just let this roll right here, but you can see right here, those hips are pushing through. The foot is straight behind her, but we still got a lot. And it's not as bad, but that land foot is still just a little bit too closed. We need to angle. You know, it's good to have a little bit of front foot being closed, but if it's turned completely sideways, you're really cutting off those hips. And it's not as bad right here for sure, but we can still do a little bit better there, so I'll continue to work on that with her. And then this was the last time that she was in with me, and her bullpen this last time that she was in was just unreal. I mean, it was the first time I've actually caught her where it was like a few of her pitches hurt my hand. And so what you're going to see, this is just a good look at everything that we've kind of implemented in with her, so you can tell, you know, with the rules, you got to have both feet engaged here. But a full range of motion back here with these arms has been a big emphasis for me talking to her, just because this kind of hinge through here too, and these arms getting back is where we're building a ton of that eventual momentum, you know. So I've told her to kind of wait on those arms to come. Boom, we got to spring forward. So you can tell, I mean, look at how much sooner the foot is turning over here. Whereas before, I mean, that thing never, ever turned over. It came all the way through with that foot completely sideways. But this right here is kind of what I'm talking about. Her last bullpen was so good as far as her throwing strikes. I mean, we started out a little shaky, but then, I mean, she ended up dotting like 10 to 12 pitches in a row, you know. And so on a day where, you know, she didn't have a game this last week, so I kind of let her have like a competitive day in the facility. So, you know, I don't want to talk too much mechanics to her and just kind of let her roll. But I mean, she threw so well, and you can tell. I mean, if this foot right here now, like I said, you want to have a certain amount of closure in this front foot, but that right there is too much. We should be looking at more like that. You know, I mean, if that's completely straight, we want to be looking at that foot being in here somewhere. So we do some drills where it's just kind of we take the throw out of it, or we do it with towels or whatever, and we just really work on getting back to forward. So I think that's what we're going to continue to do with her. But you can also tell that how that foot closes kind of makes her crossfire a little bit, just because this foot doesn't really have a chance. It's got to come in behind her here. So still such a better job. One thing that she does very, very well is when that foot hits, I mean, even if her foot right here was turned out straighter, I mean, those shoulders are still going to be back. I mean, she is back right there. And if we can just get this foot, right here turned over, this foot straighter, and still have even 80%, 85% of that distraction with her arm back, she is going to throw so much harder and honestly be a little more consistent, just because it gives her a chance to, or gives her arm a chance to just come through a little more easily. So I am really proud of this chick, man. She works hard, and you know, it's got to be kind of a daunting thing to come in and work with me when she'd never pitched before, and you know, she's got a great family and stuff. So I love working with her. I'm going to continue to you know, with my softball girls, I implement all the same arm care stuff. You know, so she's got the dynamic down, she's got the bands down. She does really well in the arm care stuff, and it's showing for sure. I mean, her mechanics are getting better, but I mean, she's throwing the ball harder because she's getting so much stronger, and I'm really happy to see that for her. So I'm going to start doing some remote training with her. I will get her video up on the channel and make sure that I continue to track her progress from week to week. All right, guys, thanks.